Okay, welcome to the stream. Finally got OBS set up, and thought I would do a live stream, just talk about some stuff with the channel, and maybe work on some projects. I have a desk camera set up here, that's what's going on, and there's a face camera in the corner right here. And so, yeah, so some things I want to talk about is there hasn't been a video in a while because of, you know, just school and everything. Plus, you know, I've been busy with a whole bunch of other projects, which I'll explain throughout the stream. The stream might be an hour or so. I don't know how much I'll make it. But, to make something simple, I have a few projects working on, and some of them involve things like ham radio, amateur radio, 12-volt systems, a lot of electrical stuff, and just a lot of cool stuff going on. I also have the 3D printer, which I've been working really hard on getting properly figured out. There hasn't been much videos on that, but I plan to do a lot more on the 3D printer. That's one of the main plans for the channel. Okay, and yeah, so I guess we can get right into amateur radio as one of the main subjects that I wanted to talk about. Also, so yeah. Oh wait. Oh man, hold on one sec. Okay. Yeah, so a few things. You know, I've done the 3D printing live streams in the past, and those have been cool. But in the fact that when I've done the 3D printing live streams, it's just been a whole print. So it's been like just like a 2-hour just of the 3D printer working. And you know, I didn't find that to be all that cool, so I decided to go into more of like this kind of layout where we kind of have my desk here and stuff. And yeah, so right now the idea of just some stuff I'm going to work out is I have an amateur radio tower that's going to be set up, and I plan to make some videos on that, which will be cool. That will hold an antenna that will allow me to talk all over the world through amateur radio. It's about 20 feet long, and it gets to be about 40 feet. It cranks up, and it's like a telescopic tower. Maybe I'll put a photo up on the stream in a sec, but here, let me pull one up. Pull one up on my tablet here. Give me a sec. Okay, this is what the tower kind of looks like in my photo here. That's not at my house right now, that's at another person's, but I have it here now. Yeah. If you're also wondering why I'm not streaming on a weekend like I usually have, it's because school is out for snow stuff today, which looks to be melting, so I'll probably be back tomorrow. But yeah, so that's the idea, is to put that essentially up on this summer. So we'll have that up. That will take some concrete and everything, and it'll be quite cool. So yeah, so also another thing is efficiency of everything I'm doing here in my lab, I guess you could say, is electricity. So you know, when you're in a house, you have the 120 volt that comes in and 240. And the thing is you know, there's two 120 volt lines that add up to make the 240 volt. And essentially, when those all come into my room here through an individual circuit, which we had done, it doesn't make sense, because I have everything in this room with the power strips and everything are all stepping the voltage down from that 120 to like 12 volts. So the fact is that I can be way more efficient if I just put like 2 solar panels outside and just let the the sun charge some batteries in here, and I can run the whole room off just 12-volt solar, which would just be like a really cool idea. And I think that would be efficient for like a lot of people's homes. And you already look at like RVs and stuff, and they're already like really efficient. And like, in fact, they don't they're not on the grid. They're all off grid, so it's all batteries, generators, and solar. And like, if you calculate everything that I'm in here, I could run everything in here off 12 volts, except the fish tank behind me. You can see right by my head. You know, everything's backwards with these cameras. It's gonna be right here. Gosh, how about I just point at it? It's right there, that fish tank. And they just need a pump and a heater, so it wouldn't even be that many watts. More like 15, 20 watts or so. So not that much, probably as much as a light bulb, 2 light bulbs or so. It wouldn't be that much. And then lighting wise, you can run LED strips and everything, and it just makes way more sense. Behind me here, there is a solar charge controller on my wall, and I have a large battery, which you can actually probably see on the desk cam over here. It's that box thing right there. This is the battery, and then over there on the wall, that's my radio, and then that is the solar charge controller. And in fact, it could just I could run my whole setup. Excuse me, let me get that camera back. I shouldn't have tried to move that. It took forever to get where it was. Okay, that's good. And so yeah, so if you are just running some solar panels, it would just you could charge batteries and power a whole setup, and LED strips you could use to power everything. And here on my desk here, you'll notice I have a red LED strip array set up. You can see the red LEDs here, kind of glowing on my face here and on my hands here. Those are set up above me. And those run right now off the 120 volt circuit through my my little smart home thingy, the Amazon Echo Dot, and so I could turn those on and off. But you know, I am going to run that into the 12 volt system. And you know, speaking of like what is it? The smart home stuff, you know, like you have the Echo Dot and everything. You can you can buy like a relay board, so like you can input 12 volts into it, and it will have like 6 different relays, and it will output to all those. So all these plugs are taking the 120 volt and turning them off and on. They can't be converted to 12 volts. So I plan to do like a whole room smart home thing, where you could just have like LED strips on the roof, and then you could shut them on and off through the Alexa. Excuse me, I should mute that. It goes off whenever you say the wake word. But yeah, so there's you could then control, you know, your whole system in just off that one board, as long as you want to run all the wires up to the lights. And you could do like, each of them could be individual lights. They could be different things. They could run sirens, whatever you wanted to do actually. You know, that brings up an interesting thought, that you could really power anything with the Alexa. You know, speaking of that, there was a video I wanted to make. There's a lot of videos I want to make, it's just a matter of time. This is something called the Spawn-Off Basic. There might be some glare on my screen, hold up. Let me fix the lighting. That should be a bit better. Okay, so yeah, this little thing right here is a smart switch, and you know, it's essentially it goes into the extension cord. So I'll take it out, but I'm gonna put it back in because I want to make a video about it. But to make it simple, there is this unit here, and it you cut into an extension cord, and on each of the ends these parts come off, and you get terminals here to put your extension cord in. So it's like a light switch in the middle, but it can be controlled by Wi-Fi through your Alexa. So and these are like really cheap. It's the fact that you can like buy 2 of these for like 12 bucks is it's amazing, because you think about like these other smart switches, they're selling them for like 40 bucks a piece. Like, that's ridiculous if you want to do a whole, even just one room. I mean, if you have 3 lights in one room, then you know you're already spending like over 150 bucks now on just the one room. It's ridiculous. But yeah, these are really cheap if you don't mind soldering some wires in here, just stripping an extension cord. It's live voltage, but I mean, this is the simplest thing ever. Really, you open it up, you cut an extension cord, and you put each of the correct wires in the correct screw holes, and you just screw them down, screw in the wires. Yeah, that's really nice. Each of these are for a pack of 2 of them, they're like 13 bucks. And I have one set up on those red lights that I showed you a second ago. Yeah, they're pretty fun. I should also probably point out the Discord. I don't have it pulled up here. I could totally pull up the Discord if I wanted to. Okay, let's look at the chat here. We got Lucas Dix from Shamrock News. Talking about a podcast. That would be a cool thing to do. Definitely. And let me look here. See who's all watching. That's interesting. The stream health is a little bit down. Interesting. Okay. And oh yeah, Evan is cool. 110. Hey, Creative, how's it going? It's going pretty good, man. We've been down for a while. We need to make more videos. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things. I want to make sure everything is working here properly. So give me a sec. I want to make sure the live stream is showing up on the main channel page. Oh, thumbnail is kind of weird. Okay. I'm just making sure it's all working. Interesting with that thumbnail though. It's my old header. I never set that. Oh, change thumbnail. I see the button here. Let's see. What can we change it to? I don't really have anything on this computer over here. Here, let me change it on this one. Okay. Live dashboard. Yeah, put anything in chat that you want me to talk about or anything. I would love to talk to you about those. Any questions you have or anything. Or even if you just have like a subject. See, what can we pull up? Let's pull up the what my header is right now. Or no, not my. This is my header for my Facebook page, which you can follow. It's @Mr.Cre8ive's 05, same as the channel name. If you want to go follow me there on the Facebook page, I post a lot on there actually. There's a lot of cool stuff I do. Oh, thumbnail didn't work. Weird. I don't know. Kind of interesting. Alright, so let me get to some of the projects here. I was just planning to work on some stuff here. Some screen's down here. Okay, that's all working. Cool, let me grab something. Oh yeah, now I remember one of the things I was going to talk about. Has to do with this item right here. Okay, so 3D printed object. You know, you've all seen it on my channel. Tons of 3D printed objects. And I just thought it would be like a really cool idea. Let me kill my audio is a little bit hot on here for music. Alright, there, I got that figured out. So, yeah, so this is, these are something called Anderson power poles. They're kind of cool. I plan to use them a lot more. You'll see them on the channel. That's why I want to explain what they are. They are, a type of power connector. So, if you have 2 of them, okay, they connect together, and they're just like regular connectors, and you put your wires into the ends there. And I plan to use them a lot. They're kind of pricey, but they're quite cool, so they work amazing. Anyway, this is a 3D printed mount that I made, so you can panel mount these. They go all the way in, but I have a screw in there right now. And I'll demonstrate by this thing right here, which is another thing I worked on. This is a an ammo can that has 12-volt batteries into it, so you can actually power stuff, and it has a lot of cool features. There is those 3D printed power pole connectors. They're really cool. And so yeah, so what, say you had like a light or whatever, like those 12-volt lights I was talking about, just plug them in here, and then you have power. So it's quite cool. So let me turn this on here. There's a solar charge controller in there. So you can see in there. There's also a little, oh, what happened? Oh, sometimes it likes to do this. Shoot. I've been having some issues. This is a cheap solar charge controller, so like it decides to like shut off sometimes. I don't know why though. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll be a little bit more careful with it. Doesn't like it when I shut off things and turn them on real fast. So I turn on the thing here and you'll hear a click. That's actually a relay that I put in there, since this switch isn't meant to handle that high of like a voltage. Yeah, looking at the past stream there. And so yeah, so you can actually see the battery voltage here. It's kind of bright, so it doesn't show up that well, but it's 12.3. And then also there is some red LEDs in the front too, same type that I used on the desk. And oh yeah, another one of those connector ports, that's for actually charging the batteries. And we got a cigarette lighter port on here, and some binding posts for putting bare wires into. So this is like an emergency power box. And then in here, which you kind of saw just a second ago as I was trying to fix it, this is all the wiring I did. There's that relay right there, that little box, and a main fuse. And this is the solar charge controller here. Just shut off again. It's weird, it has an issue where it like shuts off randomly. It's like a little cheap solar charge controller. Maybe I'll switch it out with the other one I have. It's the matter that, oh wait, it's the matter that it fits in this box. It doesn't fit in the other one. I don't know. Kind of weird. Anyway, this has 10 amp hours, so there's 2 5 amp hour cells in here for batteries, which gives me 10 amp hours total. So I could power, you know, a radio on standby for probably just under a week. So that's kind of cool. Here, 1 second, the heater's on and it hasn't shut off for like 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go check what's up on that. I'll be right back. Cool. We're back. Okay. So to start off the whole room 12-volt system thing that I'm working on, this is going to be one of the main control boxes that will also give some power, and will give a voltage readout external of that solar charge controller. The solar charge controller has a screen on it. That's the little thing I showed you. That's right by the battery over there on the wall. That controls the solar coming in to charge the batteries. It also shows voltage and how much power we've used in amp hours over the time that it's been plugged into the batteries, which currently it's reading 17 amp hours, and that's been over I think a week now. I plugged it in the 25th. So it's been, yeah, just over a week. So I've used 17 amp hours, and so that gives me kind of a readout of how much I've used. It will also show me how much I produced, so how much solar will produce. Let me say, I don't have any solar panels plugged in right now. There is a little power, what do you call it? It's like a power distribution, a power supply. It takes 12-volt power and steps it down, or 120-volt power, excuse me, and steps it down to 12 volts, and that's just charging the batteries right now. Anyway, so this will be the main control box. I have some few extra parts over here. Okay. That, and this. Okay, and that's all I need. So this is not yet finished. I need to finish it. It's metal. It's hard to cut. So to make it simple, this is one of those power pole things that will go right there, and that will give me one output. So just at the main point of control, that will give me one output instantly. It could be the highest amperage output, since it's the closest to the power supply, or the batteries, whatever you want to call it. It's closest to the beginning of the line, and so that could be the radios. It could be whatever you want. This will be a push button, which I'll explain for in a second. And then this is a bezel for a part that I just had over here a second ago, right here. It's a voltmeter, so that voltmeter will go right there on the main thing. This is a 2-position or 3-position, excuse me, switch, so you can have on this way, or on in the center, or off in the center, excuse me, and then over this way. So you have off and 2 ons. So what that will be for is the big power supply that will step down the grid voltage. So I'll just call the house voltage the what is it? I'll call that the on the grid power. So we can have on grid power, or we can have off grid battery power from the solar. And, you know, say it was a rainy day, that we could switch over to the home power. It's a matter of just being as efficient as possible. And so, yeah, let me step down the volume there. You can see it changed the song. Okay. And then this will be a main power on-off switch, just for turning on and off that main power supply. That will be connected to the grid voltage, or the grid power. And that's because you don't need it on all the time standing by. You can just have it plugged in and shut off, and then, you know, you flip the transfer switch from solar over to the grid, and then you can have this already on. So you would do that kind of like you would already be in solar, and you're like, okay, I'm kind of running low on battery power here, I need to charge my batteries back up. Then you could start up your your grid power supply, and then switch it over. So makes it really simple. The button here, that's just to turn the voltmeter, so you don't have to have it on all the time. So you can just momentarily press that. It's like, oh, the battery voltage is, and then it tells you. So that's just one of the base unit stations. This part goes on top of here, and so it creates a box essentially. If I can get it to go on properly. Here, let me pull it through here. Okay, so that will create like a box, and then it will be screwed in, of course. This is going to be the main power coming in from the power supply, so grid power, and then I'll have another one coming right next to it for the solar, which will be a really short cable because the solar charge controller will be right next to it. Supposedly, it might be across the room. I don't know, but yeah. So there's a strain relief thing put into here. I think they're so fun to use, and they clamp the wire in so it doesn't get pulled out and won't rip your connections out. Yeah, they're really fun. Okay. So yeah, that's just one of the boxes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with how that's working. Oh, I bumped the camera. Okay. And yeah, if I didn't say, this is an internal camera on my laptop, so if it's like gets moved around like this and everything, that's just because, you know, it's internal. So yeah, piece of wire here. I should be showing it on this camera. Piece of wire. I'm just gonna tin the ends of this since I need it for that 12-volt project. It will go from the solar charge controller to that little box right there. So let's do that. Cable out from my legs. It's for my headset. Also, don't see any questions in the chat. Might post the link here to Facebook for the stream. Oh yeah, and I totally forgot. We passed 300 subscribers. I really should have pointed that out. Okay. Control C. Need my keyboard here for a sec. Okay, there we go. That should help. Okay. Yeah, so all that 12 volt stuff will be pretty cool once it's all implemented. So let's get working on it. My mic is a little bit crackly, I don't know why. You can see it on the stream. Interesting. Maybe that would be better. Okay. Okay, that should work. So yeah, if you don't know what we're working on right now, we're working on a 12 volt system that will work for my my room here. And I have all the components sourced out. We're just working on some jumper cables and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I need to get my exhaust fan over here. That's what this thing is right here. That's an exhaust fan. It's taking out all the fumes. Cool. So I'm hoping that maybe that would go in between those two pieces. So this would go from here now into the what is it? The solar controller. So hopefully that would work. Let's see here. Trying to think of what I need next. Okay. Okay, so I do need to take, and I need to make some wires. Hold up. There we go. Cool. I need to make some wires that go from the back of this right here, and extend out to go into the power supply. So the we can turn it off and on. Supposedly. I think I only need one wire, because if I run the ground,
Yeah. Okay, let me grab a singular wire. I had one around here. Here we are. That would work. And probably some of that too. Okay, so I'm gonna work with this stuff right here. Should work fine. Or I could grab some of my ribbon cables, which would probably work even better. Those are up on my shelf. Hold up. Okay. So we just need like a really long section of ribbon cable. Probably something a little bit longer than that. This will work perfect. It doesn't need to be that big. It's a signal cable, so it's not carrying that much like voltage. We got three viewers. How's it going? For those of you who had just tuned in, I'm working on a project here that involves power for powering lights and stuff for my room. It's called a whole room 12-volt system. It's essentially converting a room into full 12 volts and not having to use the 120 volts in the wall. I explained that towards the beginning of the stream, more in depth. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just peeling this apart. There we go. That's all off. So we have our main signal wire here. That should all work. So let's get that figured out. Probably squeeze it in right next to this other one here on this side. So maybe if I took out that string relief and I put this wire in right next to it, right about here. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Put it. Oh, that's my fan there. That's what this thing is. It's an exhaust fan. That thing's in pretty tight. Don't know if I want to get it out. I'll wait until I put the next one in for the solar. But I will get the ends made and figured out. Don't know if I have a... Yep, my tool doesn't do that far, so I'll have to do it like this. There we go. Don't want to lose these screws. I have the switch. Where did I put my switch? It's funny, I might have to go back in the stream to find that. That would be funny if I had to. You gotta be kidding me. I gotta look back in here. Where did I set that? I set it somewhere off camera, so couldn't have gone far. Well, that kind of sucks. Okay, we'll finish this. Oh, needs to heat up for a sec.
had to have just dropped it. That switch I was looking for. Or unless if I set it with all the other things over here. Interesting. Isn't it amazing how you can just misplace things so easily? Okay, well, that'll be the signal wire. If you want to see the power supply I'm actually talking about here, it's right here. It's kind of a beast of a thing. You can already see it in the camera. Oh man. So 2 power supplies, they share the load, so 45 amps we can take from those, and they're individual, so and then you have your power supply here. It's interesting. It's just really, really interesting how these can be switched in and out. So if one fails, it's really simple. So, and that comes out from the back here. I've done a lot of modification, but this comes out to 2 leads, and then that will carry the 45 amps needed for the whole room. And that's when I'm running off grid power. That's what I mean. It's this thing powering the whole room. And that's that green wire here, right there, and that's what that long wire is going to replace, to signal when this thing should be on and when it should be off. And that would be done through a manual switch, which I had sitting here a second ago and I lost. Interesting. Anyway, so that will be like a lower amperage than I'll be able to pull from the batteries. But it will power everything that I'll necessarily need. So I might not need the radio to be used during the time that thing is running. So one, I'm not on solar. I might not need the radio, and the radio pulls like what, 20 amps. Well, no, it pulls under 30. It's like 25 amps, I'm pretty sure. So if you take that and you subtract away the radio, then all your lighting is way less than that. So that will run all your lighting, your system here, my exhaust fan, 12 volts. It's really, really cool. And yeah, if you haven't seen this is my exhaust fan setup. It's a fan, it hangs, and it goes outside. There's a little flap outside that closes and opens with the pressure differential, so when air is blowing out there, the vent opens, and so I don't always have a little breeze coming in here. I had that issue for a little while. Okay. Look in here. Okay, we've done about 47 minutes. I think I'm going to end the stream at just about an hour, so I think that'll be a good stream for the day. I'll possibly come back this weekend. That would be a nice little thing to do. Oh, I also have the ground connector. We could do that. Give me a sec. Oh, the mic audio isn't working there for a sec. I had my mic up. That's what was going on. Huh. Weird. Alright. Yeah. These are also connectors that go into there, so you can plug things in. I was talking about these. These are special power post thingies that you can plug wires into. Alright. Well, yeah, I guess that kind of explains what I'm working on right now. Yeah, if you have any ideas for videos you all want to see in the future coming up, then, you know, post something in the descriptions of the videos. It doesn't matter what video, I look at all the videos. I get notifications instantly when you post, and I reply within 24 hours. Yeah, and hopefully there'll be a video out in the next week or so, maybe 2. It'd be nice. I mean, the 2 I think I could do this week are the siren. So I have a siren system that I built, and hopefully I can get that out. And maybe a video about this ventilation fan thing, and possibly just tiny bit, I might be able to do some update on like ham radio and this 12-volt system that I was working on. It might be cool. So yeah. Anyway, guess I'm gonna end the stream here. Appreciate if we had a few viewers come in. I think 5 different people. So yeah, it was really cool. Thanks for the stream, and don't forget to stay creative. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. Cool. Thanks for the stream, and don't forget to stay creative. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.